just give a short introduction for everybody here?
Yeah, that'll be great. I'll start. I'm Manvi Jain. I just finished 12th grade. Haven't finished because we haven't gotten the official result, but I like to call myself a graduate already, a high school graduate. I've just completed 12th grade from Sushila Birla Girls School, and I am the president of Student Outreach's Entrepreneurship Club.
I'll take this up next. Hello, everyone. This is Anvesha Mohanty, and I recently completed my 12th grade. Of course, being a student of CBSE, we still have not received our results, but we're eagerly anticipating for colleges, and I served as the strategic ambassador for the Liberal Arts Club at Student Outreach.
Hello everyone, I'm Shatabdi Patnaik and I am a 12th grader, like who has completed 12th grade. But after all, we haven't gotten our result as seen by all of these people. And I have been a part of student outreach since the last 3 years, and these years were the best, I would say. And I have served as the strategic ambassador for the Entrepreneurship Club. Along with it, I have also been a part of the social media team, and working with these people is an absolute blast. I just love these entire folk of people, and I guess, yeah, you'll know it very soon what we are all about.
So, hi, I'm Vanshika Bajaj. I have got my results because I am an ICSE kid, ISC now. Yeah. So, I passed. So, I'll be starting university in August, I think. And I was the president of the Student Outreach Community Service Club. And I've also been here for like 2 years. So, it's basically family now.
Please, you haven't just passed, you've done amazing. Anyways, I'd like to start off with the first question on that note. The first question being, just a second, yeah. So, the first question being, what's the pressure like being seen as the sorted one because you're in leadership? Vanchika, why don't you start?
Yeah, so basically it's a mixed bag, I think, because obviously it feels good, when people say, "Oh, tera to sorted hai" type. You have this as an extracurricular because, colleges value it a lot right now. So it feels good. But again, I don't think you're sorted anytime because there's always a new struggle every day. And obviously, even in good leadership positions, there are team struggles or things that you need to sort or events you have to plan. And a lot is going on in student outreach always. So it's very, very fun. But yeah, it is work, but I think it definitely the good part is much more because yeah, it feels good.
I'll go next. I think that honestly, the pressure is very real when you're in a leadership role, especially in a student environment. People assume that you've figured out everything and you also appear to be confident, always in control, and never second judging yourself. But honestly, being the sorted one is just a perception, I'd say. There are moments when you can be overwhelmed and often a little room to be a little vulnerable. You don't want to let your team down when people rely on you for solutions and problem solving. So I'd say this is more of, a, not a problem, but कुछ कुछ तो चलता रहता है. There's never, always a feeling that everything is under control. Honestly, not.
Well, I would completely agree to Vanshika and Anvesha on these all perspectives. But there's one more thing that I would like to add up on that. Once we are provided with a leadership role, we achieve that particular role, it comes up with a lot of responsibilities. You have to deal with a lot of people with the same mindset without losing your cool, without being very careful that what you are saying, how you're saying, and everything honestly matters at that point of time. And talking about being sorted, then the way Vanshika said, we are never sorted. And it's always like you have something or the other going up in your mind, and you're just like, okay, I need to do this as well along with that. And it's just very overwhelming. And at the same time, it is very fun to be referred to as someone who is leading this particular position, whatever we are talking about, what's the talk of the town. And but yeah, I would like to sum up that it is definitely responsibilities over the power that we get.
That's so true, all three of you. I think it's so overwhelming that we start to question ourselves at some points of time. Like, if you have a speech the next day and the last night you're like, is this good enough? Is this line supposed to be replaced by something else that people are going to find better? But I think leadership, the beauty of leadership is the fact that it's more about growth than about perfection. You don't have to have it all figured out. You can sort of like figure it out in the process. Like for me, I was head girl of my school, and I think a lot of juniors looked up to me. And then they were like, आपका दीदी आपका तो सब कुछ sorted है, आपको तो पता है आपको कौन से कॉलेज जाना है, आपको पता है कि क्या आपको प्रोफाइल में डालना है. And I knew what was on the other side, and I would be like, हाँ एकदम sorted है. And then they would not know that some application is due, like the first round is due tonight, and I have no essays ready. And it's I think it looks really perfect on the other side, but when you're in the position, you learn a lot. And I think again, the beauty of leadership is the fact that when you're in it, a few months later, I think you start becoming a lot more sorted than you were, let's say, 4 months ago. So it's a continuous process. You keep learning, you keep growing, and yeah.
So actually, yeah, I'm here. So I would love to take this over. So guys, I actually was thinking about this since the last few minutes, and like I am really confused that do you feel that the people around you genuinely get what is student outreach, or is it just that they get to know about student outreach and they're like, is it just like any other school clubs? Or is it something like, I would love to know your take on this.
I think I'm going to start with this one. I think that one of the biggest challenges I have faced in my journey of being an ambassador at student outreach is people don't often fully get what we do. From the outside, it might just seem like, any other school club. Maybe that looks good on a college application, but it's so much more than that. We at student outreach, we're trying to amplify student voices and create an actual impact for a further life ahead of high school. So I think a lot of what we do happens behind the scenes, and the pressure keeps just running everything smoothly. So, according to me, I don't think in my journey of 3 years I have seen someone get this entire thing, in their mind that what we actually do. And it takes me a lot of time and effort to make them realize, not without sounding like an actual brochure. So, yeah.
That is so true. I think even in my journey, a lot of people have underestimated what we've done. Like, I'd like to offer a different perspective on this, because in my journey, I've often had to explain to people what we do. Again, not sounding like a brochure, but then I think it's when you really join and you see what impact we're creating, that is when you truly get what student outreach is doing. Because from the outside, it's just, the events, the school fairs that we're doing, the podcast that we're doing. But what goes behind the scenes is something that's not visible to anybody. So it's not just the events that we're doing, but it's a lot more. It's the logistics, it's the 100 teams that we form, and the 100 groups that we have, and the meetings that we have, and so much teamwork, and so much sort of, it's become like a second home for all of us. That's not something that's just unique to me. So I think, again, as you like, if you join, if you take that step, it's going to reap a lot of benefits that's there. I don't think I have to repeat it. I've repeated it a million times. But that is when you truly understand what student outreach is doing.
So I personally think that for me, student outreach never seemed like just a club. Just a second. Yeah. So for me, it never just seemed like a club, even from outside, because if you go to their social media page, you can literally see like so many things are going on. We have a podcast, we have career fairs, we meet college delegates. There are fairs in schools, of course. I think that's where we were all introduced to student outreach. Obviously, not even uh 50% of the background work is visible for sure. But again, even if the like 30-40% that is visible, still it doesn't seem like just a school club. The networking that you get to do, there are thousands of members here. So it's definitely a very big deal, and it's very spread across. Like there's so much to do for everybody with diverse interests. We have 5 very different clubs. So there's always something for you to be a part of. So I think from that point of view, it doesn't just seem like a school club. Also, all the social media presence and interviewing industry professionals, at least me, I uploaded on my social media, then my family sent it in all the groups and stuff. So basically, for me, it was like, oh my God, yes, you're doing something. It's not just a club, it's a proper organization that is helping students a lot. And it helped me a lot personally. We'll get to that a little later. So, yeah, I think it's not just a club.
Yeah, there's actually one more thing as well, that I believe that student clubs do not, like the school clubs specifically, do not provide that diversity that we get at student outreach. And that's the thing which I completely love about this community. And the way Vanshika also mentioned about the networking, it's the people in here are so supportive. The people in here you get to network with, let it be people you work with, or let it be the people from different universities you interact with. So it's always you're going home and you're learning a lot of things. You're taking something back, and it's just really surreal, I would say. And secondly, it has like completely become a second home, I would say. It's very it's a home away from home, I would say. And talking about this thing, if it's not like, usually people come up with this thing that we are like we do not understand what student outreach does, but once they enter the community and once they are part of the people, it's just sorted, I would say. It is genuinely sorted after that. So yeah, that's absolutely surreal.
Just adding a little to that, even here today, we are like 2 people are from Bhubaneswar, 2 people are from Calcutta, and there are Guwahati people from Guwahati as well who are not here today, but you just get to interact with so many people across cities. So that's definitely a very big thing.
And I'd like to add an incident that had happened with me last year. This group of people came up to me. They were my batchmates, and they come up to me and they're like, should we join? Should we join Discovery Fest? And I was like, yeah, 100%. Like, do you think I'm going to say no? But then they were like, is it worth it? I mean, I'm going to spend my entire day, and I think it was somewhere close to some exam that we had in school, so they were a bit sort of not sure if they wanted to go. And I was like, you know what? Just join for yourself. Give yourself one day, and then you figure out whether you want to stay or not. And I one of those girls, I still see them joining, actively participating, and I think that's the beauty of student outreach. As Shatabdi mentioned, as I mentioned, when once you join, that is when you truly see what student outreach is doing, and then you don't want to leave. You don't want to leave.
The best feeling when you see people you have recommended student outreach to joining and being extremely active, best feeling.
Okay, so now I have a question for you all. Basically, when we entered this organization, our, like most of us, I would say, our major motive was to, develop a holistic profile and networking also. Parts of me also, desired for making good peers and friends and network so that it can help me in my life ahead of high schooling. But do you think being a part of student outreach actually gave us legit edge for college apps, or is that just what we tell ourselves during all-nighters? Because when events are coming up, because something or the other, kuch na kuch to, it's always happening at student outreach, and we all the years we led events and stuff. We did pull all-nighters as well. So do you think that is what you just tell yourselves to, cope up with your psychological state at that time during all-nighters?
I guess
Actually, I
like
would love to
every
take this question. Yeah, okay. So I would love to take up this question. Student outreach is a great place to learn a lot of things. Like starting from getting like I have MC'd at events of student outreach. Starting from that to everything can be learned over here, and you have to basically uh, you know get all those life skills that you have ever wanted to showcase in the real life scenarios, and that definitely helps you away like apart from this college application thingy. And it's usually like people, again, colleges do prefer people with holistic background. So if I am someone who has scored 99%, and at the same time I am not someone who is into different other things, into the extracurriculars or into stuffs I personally like, so it is definitely going to be a very difficult thing to juggle up for the universities to select me. But at the same time, uh, whenever I am selecting something very dear to me and I'm working upon that, so obviously the extracurriculars at places do value a lot. So it's basically that the college applications very much are influenced by whatever extracurriculars that I've personally done at student outreach, because it is just a hub for learning. You get to learn a lot of things, you get a lot of insights, you get a lot of perspectives, and it's just the perfect place to be at, I would say.
That is so true, all of it. And I think there's like so much, I think everybody can relate to what you said. That is something we say during all nighters because it's stressful sometimes, obviously. That's part of life and part of student outreach. But then, as I said, benefits outweigh that. But there's so much truth in it at the same time because what do colleges want? They want to see initiative, they want to see leadership, they want to see problem solving, they want to see public speaking, everything that student outreach provides you with. And I think you sort of become a better person when you look at it. I mean, when I look at my journey, I see myself not just picking up skills and honing my skills, but at the same time learning so much that you could have never learned in textbooks. And I think colleges, they see that in your application, they see the genuinity, and whatever we do in student outreach is genuine. We all know this. We're here. I mean, I'm in Dubai right now and there are guests over and I want to do this is my choice. So I think that's also another thing. And I think more than that, if it's any other student, any other club that you talk about, there's one thing that you're specializing in. But in student outreach, one day you're focusing on logistics, second day you're focusing on a podcast, third day you're focusing on, as Shatabdi mentioned, she was MCing, fourth day Vanchika and I favorite job, registration desk. I mean, you're learning so much, and I think you don't realize it. You realize it later, but colleges obviously they realize it the moment you put it on your application. Like I remember, in some of my applications, we had to mention like only three extracurriculars, and one of them, like the topmost, was student outreach for me because that was just not just one thing that you mentioned, right? There was like a list of things that I had. Bullet pointers. There was registration. There was the president of the entrepreneurship club. There was, as I said, logistics team. There was the Voices podcast. I recently received. We A lot of us received awards from student outreach. So there's so much, and I think colleges really see that. So why not?
Yeah, so adding a little to that, I mean, you guys covered the whole, I mean, how it gives you an edge, but I'd like to talk about how you get to, get various insights on the college because in the events, in the student outreach events, there are workshops that are organized by the colleges. So I personally met a lot of college reps, which really helped me understand it better and build a connect with them or network with them so that I have, whenever I have doubts, I can approach them. I have their mail ID. So that is also one big thing. Also, registration desk forever. It's very diverse at student outreach. You get so many different opportunities. And I personally feel I was so grateful that I got into student outreach in class 11 because it really helped me discover a very new part of myself. And just a little tip, it gives you very good essay material, guys. I wrote my college essays on student outreach and I got in. So I think at least for the essays, it's very worth it. But yeah, I've grown a lot. I personally feel I've learned so many soft skills, which I think, which colleges also see, right? Even if you don't have to write that, I have logistic skills. If you write, you were an ambassador at this event, you led this event, you managed this event, you emceed, it just shows. And yeah, student outreach has great connects with colleges, very good universities. So it's definitely it gives you an edge for sure.
You know, guys, what I just got reminded of, I remember calling like Chaksha's university rep, and I was like, this is Manvi Jain of Sushila Bada Girls School. And he was like, yeah, I know you. And I was like, oh my God, am I a celebrity or what? And I think that is what student outreach does, because I didn't have to give him a whole 1 hour long introduction. I've done this, I've done that. I want to register, I want to apply for Plaksha. I just had to give him one liner that I'm part of student outreach. I'm Manvi Jain from Sushila Bada. And he knew me. That's how great it is.
For real, for real.
Let's be real, during those 2 a.m. crisis calls, or before a big event, we definitely tell ourselves that this better look good on a college application, and honestly it does. As Vanshika mentioned, I have also written majority of my college essays on student outreach. It was everywhere, let it be extracurriculars, essays, literally any place. Student outreach was my first go to topic. And we're not just showing up, we are strategizing, leading teams, handling setbacks, collaborating amongst our peers and professionals. So I think this journey does always will keep a special place in my heart.
And there is one more thing. The day I had opened my LinkedIn account, the first thing that I had ever mentioned there was student outreach. And
Same,
that's then I
same.
like, that's literally when I had realized, oh damn, itna kuch kar liya hai idhar. And then I was like, okay, I have learned a lot from in this place. And it was really like, I was shocked at that point of time. Ki, okay, I've done this, I've done this, I've done this. Also this from this place. Okay, really good for that.
Will not believe me. I actually forgot a few things. Thankfully, I had like a certificate folder where I got reminded of it. Because there's also character limit for like an extracurricular in most colleges. So in the application, I wrote everything. I was like, okay, I've paraphrased it to the word limit. And then I realized I didn't mention this, I didn't mention that. And that was the moment I realized, oh my God, okay.
Guys,
Experience to
ये बोल रहे हो LinkedIn के लिए? I remember texting ma'am 2 days ago, and I was like, "Ma'am, can you help with my LinkedIn?"
we
Make
were on
me
a call.
laugh.
Me and ma'am were on a call. We set it up together. She gave
Oh
me
my
all the
God.
notes. She gave seriously. So the mentorship follows you. Okay? It's not just ki okay, for the 2 years you're here, tab tak hai. You build the connects for lifetime, for sure. So I guess let's move on to a new question. So I was okay. So this is on a very informal note. Have you, like we have meetings till late, especially before events, right? So have you just mentally RSVP'd? No, I'm not attending the meeting. I'm too tired. And then, just came up with a smile and maybe a coffee in your hand, like, hi guys. Because personally, it happens to me a lot because but again, even if you're tired, right, at least for me it's like I get to meet you guys, and you guys, I have literally built such a good friendship with so many people in student outreach. So it's like it's my chilling time most of the times. Like, yes, we do work, but we do work in such a fun way, and obviously it's like a call with your friends. So for me it's like, okay, I can get tired, but I'm like, nahi, theek hai yaar, they are joining, थोड़ी देर चिल करके then we'll get to work, थोड़ा mind fresh हो जाएगा वाला thing.
Can I
Sachchi.
please take this up? The fact that you mentioned caffeine, my God, 100% yes. I think all of us had that moment where our brain is like, nope, not today. And you just get a notification pop up that meeting is due today at maybe 9 or 9:30, and I behave like a half zombie, drowsy, and I try to gear up and join the meeting just because I know at the end of the day, when things are sorted out, when we plan out something for the event mutually, there's discussions, arguments, debates, what will look good, what won't. But at the end of the day, we complete the day on a good night with smile, giggles on our face for the fact that someone makes a joke. And even our mentors are the sweetest, I think. They also try to cheer us up whenever they say that maybe we look drowsy or we look a little sad. Our mentors are the quickest one to notice it, and they just easily get to know कि क्या हुआ है तुम्हारा आज क्यों उदास दिख रहे हो kind of. So I think, as Vanshika mentioned it already, it is work, it is fun as well.
So true for me also. I think it's more times than I'd like to admit. Like, for example, today morning, I was like, no, I want to go out. We had this plan of going to this mall. And I was like, but we can do it tomorrow, right? I mean, that instantly that thought was there in my head. As soon as I thought about this, I was like, do I want to miss this? Hell no. So I think, but aren't these the moments which are actually testing your commitment? You are like, for me, the genuinity. For me, it was, and I think for I've had so many meetings where never wanted to show up, did not at all. I was like, you know what? I'm going to play asleep. I'm going to be asleep. If they call me, they'll think I'm asleep. But then, those meetings are the ones where you've gotten the best ideas. Those meetings are the ones which have gotten you the pathway to that amazing event. And I think we get burnt out so much, but at the end of the day, it's the people, it is those familiar faces, it is Pooja ma'am, it is Ajay sir. And I think that is again the beauty of student outreach. कि दूसरे meetings में I would have probably not been here, or any one of us, because obviously अभी तो time है chill करने का, but for student outreach there's always an exception, at least for me, and I know for all of you.
Since we are already talking about having up meetings and like before the actual event or before a podcast we are trying to host, just letting you know, yesterday was my birthday and I came up after like chilling out with my friends, and I came back home. I was chilling with my family members. I was like celebrating with them, and I get a text from Anvesha, Shatabdi, where are you? Join in the meeting. We're waiting for you. And I was like, wait, how do I get out of this place? Wait, I have to cut the cake. I have to. And it was definitely a very chaotic situation to explain to my family members that why am I going midway? And I'm like, I have to spend at least 10 minutes with them, or else my birthday mera ho gaya. They need to, we need to spend time together at least for the time being, even if it's not about work, or even if it's not about what we are talking at the moment. But it's always like, okay, I did show up even if I was busy. We did try to show up, and that's all like from the chorus of the heart. And it's everything very emotional when it comes to these people. So yeah, I guess I don't think there's ever this one time that you haven't wanted to join this meeting but you still did. And it's very shocking, yet it's very like cute, I would say, that all of us have the same feeling, all of us have the same thought, and like we think in a very similar way when it comes to interacting with one another. It's very sweet.
Also, I mean, the FOMO is so real because, you want, once you start all matlab, working and managing stuff, right? You want to be involved in every step. So the FOMO is very, very real. And I mean, yes, it can get tiring, but I don't remember one meeting after which, after all the work talk, we just sat together, discussed how we're doing, what we did today, how's everything going, if we have to rant a little about our, studies and stuff. It's always been there. So, as Anvesha said, it always ends on a very, very good note. So, very grateful for that. And I think we can end with one last question. So, for the people listening right now and thinking, should I join student outreach, or even people who ask us, like, I get that question a lot. I think every ambassador does. So, without sounding like a brochure, as you people said, how would you, convince them or explain a little to them?
I would love to take this over. And okay, if there is someone who is okay, I would completely give an example of my journey. That is all that I'm going to do, and you will be more than impressed. You will be more than like motivated to join about this particular community. The very first meeting was because of a random notification that I decided to open. And that is, I don't even know if I wouldn't have opened that notification from that school group or would have absolutely missed it or something. I don't know if I would have been in here talking with you guys, if I would have been, it would never have happened. And once I was into the community, the first thing I attended the very first meeting, I saw our like most confident seniors who are like the people who taught us a lot of things. So they were absolutely flawless. They were speaking with the most confident self of them, and they were like absolutely amazing. So I, at the very first place, was very much interested on what this particular place is. So I had to ask about it. So I was very nervous to even open my mic. I was even like nervous that should I say something? What if I say something wrong? What if I make a mistake? But gradually with time I understood that this place like gives you the perfect opportunity to make the right mistakes so that you grow from it. You take all the positives out of it and you basically just grow. That's the only thing that happens at this place. You grow, you help others grow, and that's just very a family like situation in here. And I would also like mention about this fact that there are people those who come up to me and they're like, how do you manage your stage fright? I used to have severe like stage fear, and I would like literally go blank whenever I'm on stage or whenever I'm with people. But it's again the practice, the people, like the practice that has made me a little more confident within myself, a little more risk taking ability that has developed in me is because of this particular organization. And even after that, I have learned one more thing, that crisis management is the only solution. Life में problems आएंगे, manage तुमको करने पड़ेंगे, हंस के करो, रो के करो, जैसे करना है करो, but you have to do that. And that's probably the main goal या फिर motive या फिर whatever that I have like taken it from this like community of people. And yeah, that's all.
I think right now I'll just go for this. If you're someone who's just, as a student, tired of watching things that actually happen and you want to make things happen, you want to be productive, take over leadership, and panic laced productivity as well, I would say. That last minute problems that come and you're ready to take this up, you're a risk taker. You might have a little mini breakdown, but honestly, problem solving तुम कर लेगा, तुम्हें पता है. And if you are scared also, I think when I joined student outreach, I was not a good public speaker. And even if it was an online meeting right now, if it would have been me 3 years back, I would have stuttered like nothing. I wouldn't be able to utter a word right now. But that is what student outreach really taught me. As Shatabdi mentioned, the fact that we have learned from our mistakes. We have done a lot of mistakes as well when we saw our seniors, the way they had the poise in their speech and the way they just controlled and balanced things. And after the next year, when we gave them farewell, we just had one thing going on in our mind: can we do this? Are we, capable to do this? But yes, you do learn in this journey a lot. And anything, I think learning, taking up risks, being daring, being a risk taker, I think nothing can attract a student more to this journey, because at this age of being a teenager, this is just so cool. I think this vibe is too cool.
Yeah, so am I unmuted? Yeah, sorry. I think there was a little bit of glitch there. So I totally agree. I mean, I still remember I was standing outside the on the day of the dry run. I hadn't attended a single meeting, and I don't know how I had the guts. I knew no one, but I went to the dry run because I texted the mentors like I want to participate. They're like, fine, come to the dry run. We figure out something. I was standing outside the hotel and I was very scared. I was like, I don't know anybody. Matlab, how is this going to work out? And that's when I met Manvi and we met outside and she was also alone. Everybody came with their friends and we both were like literally standing alone. So I was like, hi. And that's where our friendship began. And obviously, when I just crossed that threshold, the everything changed. It was so wholesome. It was not like they knew me, right? But still, my opinions were valued. I was heard. I felt heard. So it was a very big thing. Also, talking about our seniors, obviously, it felt like how will we even manage the next event? Like, how is it gonna work out? Because obviously they are like at managing positions, right? So they oversee everything. But now I feel like now the juniors that are in my team, they are like, I don't know how we'll conduct meetings like you do. I'm like, I could not have even spoken without stuttering. So hearing that is so wholesome. And I know they'll do much better than me. So it's a very wholesome feeling being part of a very big group like this who are all focused towards their growth, right? So it's a very wholesome thing for me. And I think it's a great thing to be part of. Just give it a shot. Just give it a shot and I hope it works out.
That's so true. And I think for us right now, I think for all of us, all the four of us, we're having like so many full circle moments. I've had them so many in the last few days because we've been having meetings for our club activities, and they're like, we don't know how we're gonna do it as well as you. And I remember myself thinking on the dry run, as Manchika mentioned, and I was like, I can never do this. I don't have the capability or the potential to do any of this. But just to end this on a very good note, I'd say come for the events and then stay for the people and stay for the chaos. And trust me, you're not going to regret that decision.
So,
Like,
so,
there is
so
one more thing that I would say. Things would start with a high and would probably be one of the best ever decisions that you have ever taken. So, yeah, don't be afraid of initiating that high with anyone, any people you meet at this place. And it's just going to be absolutely amazing. And that's my guarantee. I can literally guarantee about it.
so true. I mean, it's just take that one step, and uske baad everything will fall into place. Trust me. So I guess we have convinced you enough. Hope to see you in our teams very soon. So I guess we can end it now. Bye bye. Thank you so much for joining.
Bye
If you have
bye.
questions, you can
Thank you,
text us
guys.
in the chat box.
Yeah, looking forward to see you all of those who are watching, who will be watching this later, to be in student outreach, be part of our community. As they said, you will not regret it.